Hey everybody, welcome to another lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to cover another grammar pattern of sorts. This is a relatively simple one, so this will be a short video. And yeah, we'll learn something from it. So let's begin. Today we're going to learn really simply how to say on the way. The phrasing that we're going to use is the phrasing gakkou ni, which is going to come right after a going type verb. So if you don't know what a going type verb is, we've addressed it before, but basically it's just those verbs like iku, which means to go, or kuru, which means to come, or kaeru, which means to return. So what we're going to do is we're going to conjugate those going verbs into the primas form, so iki or ki. Then we're going to plug on our phrasing here, gakkou ni, and that will mean on the way of going, or on the way of coming, or on the way of returning. Because it's just that simple and the construction kind of explains the grammar pattern itself, we don't really need to establish any more context information, so we can just jump in some example sentences now and learn this thing really quickly. So for our first example sentence, we're going to use the word kuru, which means to come, of course. So our example sentence is going to read Kigake ni jibun no shippo o oikakeru犬を見ました. This line right here is going to translate to basically on the way here, or on the way of coming here, I saw a dog that was chasing its own tail. Let's break down the sentence bit by bit. Kind of luckily here, we start off the beginning of the sentence with our actual grammar patterns. So this is the focus of the sentence right here, and we have the verb kuru, which is going to be conjugated into its primas form, which is ki, because the mas form is kimas. And with that, we can kind of just plug on gakkou ni now. So Kigake ni is going to mean on the way of coming. Next up, we're going to kind of have this pretty long clause that is going to modify a noun, which is jibun no shippo o oikakeru. The first right there is jibun, which means oneself, or yourself or oneself. It's going to be part of a noun modification with the second word shippo, which means tail. So basically that'll mean one's own tail. We have the direct object marker o to mark that noun modification as the direct object. Then we have the verb action oikakeru, which means basically to follow or to chase after. So jibun no shippo o oikakeru is going to mean to follow or to chase one's own tail, and this will be modifying the noun that appears right after this clause, which is inu, which means dog. So the dog that was chasing its own tail. Now we're in turn going to mark this dog as a direct object to our action, and our action is going to be miru, which just means to see. And so we're going to conjugate that into the past form because we're talking about the past here. So miru turns into mimashita, and altogether the sentence is again going to translate to on the way coming here, I saw a dog chasing its own tail, or that was chasing its own tail. Kigake ni jibun no shippo o oikakeru犬を見ました. For our next example sentence of this grammar pattern, we're going to use the verb iku, which means, of course, to go. So for our line, we have Koukousei no koro wa学校への行きがけにコンビニからコロッケを買った. This line right here is going to translate to basically back when I was a high school student, on the way of going to school, I would buy croquettes from the convenience store. So let's break the sentence down bit by bit. First up, we have the noun modification, which is Koukousei no koro. This is the first word, Koukousei, which means high school student, and koro, which means basically time. So of course that noun modification will just be like my high school days, or when I was a high school student. We're going to mark that noun modification as the particle, as the topic, with the particle wa. Next up, we have the word gakkou, which means school, as in the actual physical location of school. We have the particle e to mark that as the destination, of course. And then we have our grammar pattern here, which is again going to use the verb iku, which means to go. So we conjugate that into the primas form, which is iki, and then plug on gakkou ni. So that will be on the way of going. After that, we have konbini, which is going to translate to convenience store. We have the particle katta to mean from the convenience store. We have the noun croquette, which is going to translate to croquette, basically. Mark that as the direct object with the particle o, and then end the sentence with the verb katta, which is the past form of the verb kao, which means to buy. So all together, once again, Koukousei no koro wa gakkou he no ikigake ni konbini kara croquette o katta. And this will be when I was a high school student, I would buy croquettes on the way of going to school. Okay, we are going to cover one more example sentence with this grammar pattern using pretty much the last very common going verb, which is kaeru, which means to return. And so for our line, we have Kyou kaerigake ni atarashiku ninki na crepe mise ni yoru tsumori da. And this line is going to translate to on the way of returning home today, I plan to visit that new popular crepe store. So let's break down the sentence bit by bit. First up, we have the word kyou, which means today. Right after this now, we have our grammar pattern instance. So we're going to use the verb kaeru, which means to return. So conjugate that into the primas form, and it turns into kaeri. Plug on gakkou ni to mean on the way of kaerying, or on the way of returning. And now we just say what we do on the way of returning. Atarashiku ninki na crepe mise ni yoru tsumori da, which is going to mean new and popular crepe store. The adjective atarashi, which means new. We're going to connect that with the non-adjective ninki, which means popular. The na particle is there to modify it with the noun, which is crepe mise, which means crepe store. With the particle ni to mark it as a location, then the verb yoru, which means basically to drop by or to visit. It's going to be part of the grammar pattern that is the plain form of a verb plus tsumori, which means intend to do that verb. So yoru tsumori is going to be intend to visit or plan to visit, and we end the sentence with the copula da. So altogether, once again, we have Kyou, kaerigake ni atarashiku ninki na crepe mise ni yoru tsumori da. Okay, so those are 3 example sentences to show us how to use the grammar pattern that is gake ni plugged onto the premost form of one of the going verbs to mean on the way of. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed your time doing so. If you'd like to express that, you can like the video, leave a comment below, or subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to support more of these video lessons or support more of these video lessons being created more often, or support more types of videos, please do consider checking out our Patreon page and consider becoming a patron there. Also included on the screen right now are, of course, a bunch of links on where to find and follow us elsewhere online, including our official website. And lastly, check out our Discord server. We've got a community of hundreds of people learning Japanese just there. So if you're looking for somebody to voice chat with just to practice speaking Japanese, or you have a quick question that needs a quick answer, or if you just want to talk about anime or music or manga or other Japanese things, learn Japanese.becauseofdreams.com/Discord. And with that, see you next time.